Hey. Okay, I am back, and this is another top 10 Of course, you're going to find the link down below for the top 10 great conversation topics that you can have when you're getting to know someone or on a date. Whether you can use this for online conversations, dating online, but these things like are my top 10 least favorite conversations and topics that you should not ever have with someone, because it can always leave a bad aftertaste in that person's mouth, or make that person judge you because that person automatically feels a particular kind of way and they're already so these are the things you don't talk about. Okay. One, most important one, don't fuck it up. Politics. No matter how passionate you are about politics, do not, and I repeat, do not speak of or talk about politics. I've had situations where I've been on dates, had conversations with men, and they talk about politics, and I feel to myself like, okay, we're butting heads already. And the fact that we're butting heads, we already, like, in the beginning, everything was just so cool. Like, we were feeling each other, looking each other in the eyes through the candlelight, having glasses of wine and like toasting. And once politics hit the table, everything, we were on separate sides about to go to war. Don't ever, at any circumstances, talk about politics unless you're trying to get rid of your date. The least thing not to talk about, number 2, is other dates. Even if the person is trying to pull it out of you, don't talk about it. It's a setup. Trust me, and trust and believe when I say it's a setup. Do not ever talk about your past dates, your past anything, because if anything, that's a quick way to just blow up your date. And I'm not talking about blowing up. Number 3, the least thing that you don't conversate about when on a conversation with someone that you're trying to impress, get to know, or speaking with online that you're trying to, get to go on a date with, or you are on a date with, is past relationships. Okay. Even if the person is trying to probe you in about past relationships, and they probably saying things like, oh wow, you look too beautiful to be single, what happened, or you're too handsome or too nice, that is just a setup. Don't fall for it. If you fall for it, you're a jackass for it. Just don't fall for that setup. Whatever you do, do not ever unless you're confessing to your priest about your ex or your past relationships, because that's especially a quick way to end a date. And trust me, especially when you're dealing with a woman, women always act like they want to know, but those bitches really don't want to know. Now, number 4 is science fiction. It's debatable. I like talking about science fiction, but that's a quick way to go back to the bore snooze factor. Some people are not really into talking about science fiction. They don't mind watching it or reading it on their own time, but talking about science fiction all the time, unless you're with a geek or nerd, not that I have anything against them, because I find you guys sexy. The next thing you don't talk about is religion. Unless you guys are in a relationship and you guys already have a title of monogamy, and you guys known each other well enough where you guys have that bounce back, where when you guys have disagreements, you guys can get back to, well, we can agree to disagree. If you don't have a title, you're not his woman, he's not your man, and you guys have not been with each other, and you guys don't have a title, do not talk about religion. That is just like in the same form of politics. You're going to be together, be all lovey-dovey, and I love you and all that. And then that's a quick way to fire out your relationship and not even have a second date or a call. Now, the next thing is celebrities. And that, the thing about talking about celebrities is that you're basically going to either say something positive, but most likely something negative. But if you're talking about celebrities, it feels and looks like you don't have a life. Like you don't have hobbies, you're a homebody, and you live your life vicariously through television or through these celebrities. Like you're a groupie. You don't want to be anybody's groupie, but your own. Trust and believe. So whatever you do, do not talk about celebrities. Even if the person talk about a celebrity or bring it up just to start a little conversation, give a short answer, drop it, and then switch the topic to one of the topics that I brought on to things you can talk about. That way, that's a surefire way to show proof any of these situations if they were to be brought up to you in these type of topics that I'm dropping. Now, the other thing is science. Science is going back to the situation where you're talking about, science fiction because it's boring. Not everybody's into science. Not everybody wants to know H2O, MC square, and all the chemicals and follicles and putting pop bottles and turning them into like little spritzers and things. And no, that's a surefire way to drain your relationship and like kill it fast. Now the next one is 8, antiques. Unless you're fucking an elderly or you're with an elderly, don't talk about antiques. That's like a surefire way to say that I'm old. I live with 1,000,000,001 cats and I just don't have any social skills or social life. Don't talk about antiques unless the person talk about antiques. And even if you're not that well aware about it, Number 9, money. For all you money hungry females and gold diggers, that's a surefire way to make sure you don't get a call back. And that's one thing I don't understand about females. When they always talk about money on their first few dates, like, you don't do that. And men, that's a clear sign that she is not worth your time. Drop her ass. But money should never be brought up on any kind of first 3 dates at least. Or at least when you guys are in the title of a relationship. Don't bring up money, because that falls into the same category of politics. Now, of course, final top 10 favorite conversations, least favorite conversations that you should not have is talking about history, because there are some very passionate people out there when it comes to conversations like history, because that also falls in the category of politics and religion. You don't talk about it. If the person brings it up because they're trying to have an intellectual conversation, whatever, listen to what they're saying, agree, or say little short answers. But then go back to things you should be talking about. Phase into things you should be talking about, so that way you can avoid conversations where you guys end up at each other's throats. So that is Miss PATU LOCA's top 10 least favorite conversations that you should not have when you're getting to know someone or going on a date or trying to speak with someone online, whether it be online on one of these social sites or online dating. So this is Miss PATU LOCA sharing this top 10, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and tell me if these advice, what you think about them. And at the same time, you can also check out in the link down below for the things you should be talking about. Thanks. Peace.